I couldn't decide whether I wanted to wear my Letterman or my flannel. I'll wear the Letterman just in case it gets colder later on. My brother should be arriving shortly. He finally came up to visit me, so I'm gonna show him a night around Rottenland. Corey's a few years younger than me. Cool kid. And if I know my bro well enough, he's gonna step through that door wearing a faux fur jacket, some band on his t-shirt, and matching Jordans. That must be him. We grabbed some drinks at the bar. Very rarely you'll find an open seat, let alone two. But we did. I ordered a couple of pale ales and a round of shots. Corey and I sat there catching up. We talked about the times when we still lived together, dealing with Ma all the time, getting into petty trouble. Moments hit so much harder when you look back at them versus when it's happening in the moment. Anyways, it was good to hear everyone back home is doing well. I told Corey about all the crazy shit I've been experiencing here. It actually made him want to move here. I told him let's see how he feels about that after this weekend. He also got candid with me. He's been racking up some debt with credit cards, overdraft debit cards, etc. I asked him how he let his money get out of hand. He said just being careless. I told him I'd help if I could, but I got my own bills. I advised him to get a second job. Of course, he didn't want to hear that. We finished up our drinks. I took care of the tab. After what Corey told me, sounds like it's going to be a dash-funded night. Before we left, Corey spotted a couple of guys at the billiards table. I forgot to mention Corey can be quite a hustler. He said he wanted some extra cash for tonight and figured he could maybe hustle $500 from a game. I told him to do his thing. In 45 minutes, Corey scooped $500 off the table, handed the guys back the pool sticks, and we continued our night. We drove down the road. I was showing Corey all the different landmarks of the city. When we passed by the casino, his eyes glowed brighter than the lights on the sign. By the time he asked if we could go, I was already turning in the parking lot. Corey and I entered inside. Looks like Vegas threw up in here. Burlesque dancers and servers, tables packed, slots ringing, time to get to business. Corey and I got some chips, plus a few extras thanks to the pool fools who got hustled moments ago. We started at the blackjack table. There were some interesting people sitting there. Next to me was Mr. Pokerface. He had on shades, turtleneck, and no emotion. Type of guy you'll see frequent a place like this. Next to him was Peggy Sue. Beach blonde, crusty makeup, and chain-smoking a cumulonimbus cloud. I'll be honest, I haven't played blackjack in a minute. I used to count cards, but I forgot all that. Next, we hop on the roulette table. I was down to a few chips, so I had to play smart. I put a couple of chips on red and won. Got me a few bucks back. I was slowly getting on a roll. Had about $30K in chips. I was feeling good, feeling brave. I shoved the full $30K in there on black, but Corey stopped me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm about to flip this $30K to a payday. What do you mean?" He reminded me of my compulsive gambling nature. Sometimes when I'm hot, I feel like nothing can stop me, until I lose half my money. I listened, and only put $10K in chips, but I lost it. I put in another 5, lost that too. Maybe my heat was starting to go out. Looks like Corey's too. We were both getting L's. We took a break to let our aura recharge. There was a buffet in the casino, so we decided to get food. Corey and I sat at a table with our plates piled in front of us. We used to go to buffets a lot when I was a kid, the whole fam. Corey learned from me how to stack the plate. Meat on the bottom, mash in the middle, veggies and whatever on top. While we were eating, there was this man about to leave. He looked like a high roller, diamond rings on each finger beaming all the way to our table. Usually you don't tip at buffets, there's no servers or waiters. But I saw this guy pull out a $100 bill and leave it on the table. I guess the busser will have a nice tip. We finished eating and headed back to the floor. I felt a second wind. We went to the poker tables. After a couple of losses, the heat started to reignite. I was winning again. So much that the dealer started to think I was counting cards. My chips started growing and growing. Onlookers were watching what Dash can do. I can feel myself getting close to my compulsive gambling nature. And with all the hoopla surrounding me, I was all in. 200K, all bets closed. Corey looked at me like, "You fucking idiot." And sure enough, I lost. Corey and I sat at a bench. Next to it was a medium-sized waterfall. I sat there looking at the dimes and nickels floating at the bottom. I didn't know whether to throw one in and make a wish or scoop every cent in there because I was broke as fuck. I can't believe I did that. Corey still had some chips, but only about $80 worth. I'm the big bro. I should be setting an example. The only example I'm setting is to let your intrusive thoughts win. Corey tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around. He said, "Look over there." It was a table full of chips. Looks like someone just walked off and left it there. Maybe went to the bathroom. Corey said, "Let's steal it." Being the older brother, I should advise against this. But what the hell do I know at this point? We got up and crept over. I started talking to the dealer as a distraction. Corey was grabbing handfuls of the chips and throwing them in the bag. Once Corey walked off, I wrapped up the combo and jetted. We went straight to cash it in. The banker was moving slow as hell. I started getting antsy, looking over my shoulder to see if the winner of these chips were coming. Nobody yet. Corey, on the other hand, was calm as water, even whistling while the banker was counting the cash. Finally, she finished. We were back at our $200K. Bagged up the cash and we left before she could say goodbye. We ran into my apartment and shut the door. Corey dumped the money on the coffee table. Shit, I did not think we was going to leave tonight and come back with $200K. I'd never seen this much money at once before. We split it down the middle, $100K each. I grabbed a couple of duffel bags from my closet to put the money in. I got Corey set up on the couch. Blanket, pillow, TV remote, just in case he likes background noise like I do. We called it a night. The following day, we began our shopping spree at the mall. It's packed as hell in here. As Corey and I shuffled to the clothing store, we got stuck behind this old man in an electric wheelchair. He had to be going about 5 miles per hour. Corey pulled a tool out his pocket. He said back home he helped fix Granddad's wheelchair. In doing so, he learned there's a throttle gauge you can adjust to make it go faster. Corey bent down and tweaked the old man's chair. When I tell you this motherfucker took off, shit. Corey sent his ass to Talladega, zooming down the hallway, smacked right into the wall like a test dummy. Corey and I sped walked to the clothing store, entered inside. I grabbed a couple of outfits and went to the dressing room. Everything was looking good, fit well, no sag. And then I heard this buzzing noise. I looked under the door and saw wheels. It was the old man. I knocked on the wall. Corey was in the room beside me. I told him the old man found us. I grabbed my clothes and climbed under the divider to Corey's dressing room. We crawled one more over and exited. Corey and I rushed to the cashier. Of course, they were being slow taking off the hangers. I said, "Leave them on." Finally, they gave us our receipt and we left. Next door was an electronics store. That's where we ran up the biggest bill. Game consoles, foot massagers, TVs, etc. Corey and I walked out the store with handfuls of bags, one hanging from each finger. Even Paul from customer service helped take our TVs to the car. After Paul loaded up all our shit, I gave him a hefty tip. He couldn't believe the amount. He ran happily back inside the store. That's what it's all about, giving back. If you don't, who will? Corey and I got in the car and drove home. We carried everything inside. My living room was looking like a department store. Corey helped me set up the TV and game console. We played for hours. I miss this. It's crazy that it's been years since my brother and I played video games together. Yet we still have our same chemistry. And it's wild to see our old techniques can still wreck this new class of kids. We played this online shooting game. There's about 5-6 different decoys, routes, and combinations that we came up with. I still remember them fairly well, but well enough to win each match. We went 8 for 8. Can't fuck with the McKenzie brothers. Later that evening, we got dinner at La Fourchette Violette. Our table was covered with lobster, steak, shrimp, chicken, and donkey chops. I never had donkey chops, but I'll try it. Corey and I indulged in the food, finished off with tiramisu. While we were eating our dessert, a man came and sat at our table. It was Big Baller from the buffet. He grabbed my plate of tiramisu and started eating. Didn't say a word. I asked him if he was at the casino yesterday. He nodded his head. "Good memory," he said. He asked if I also remember the $200K in chips we stole from him. I said I didn't know what he was talking about. Big Baller told me to cut the shit. He checked the tape with the casino and the dealer described our description before the money vanished. Big Baller said he wanted his money by Monday. It was Saturday. Or else he will sell our organs for $200K. Big Baller got up from the table and walked off. Corey and I looked at each other like, what the fuck? We quickly paid the bill and headed home. Customer service was going to wrap up in an hour. I called every store I purchased from, but they all said they only give store credit. Corey didn't have savings, nor did I. This weekend was fun while it lasted. We just went to sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. I saw a light glowing from my living room. I walked in and saw Corey typing away on my laptop. I asked what he's doing. It's like 1 a.m. He said he might have figured a way out of this. Corey did some research and found a poker player buried in the Rotten Land Cemetery. We dig him up, revive him with the seance, win our money, plus more, pay back Big Baller, and we're all good. I thought the plan was ridiculous, but I'll try anything right now to keep my body intact. We broke into the Rotten Land Cemetery. Felt like hours that we were looking for the tombstone. I came across one that had a headstone shaped like a poker chip. I flashed my light on it. Bookie Buchanan. Found him. Corey and I got to digging. Shit, they're not lying when they say 6 feet under. I gave one good shove in the dirt and hit something. We struck gold. Corey helped me pry open the coffin. Dust and who knows what flew back in my face like backdraft. After coughing and waving it out of my face, I could see Bookie. He looked dead as fuck. Face was half decayed, half bones. Suit was fresh though. Corey reached in his back pocket and pulled out the crumpled seance he wrote down. He began reciting it. But every time I looked down at Bookie, he wasn't moving. Maybe the seance is BS. Or maybe we need some chicken heads and candles to open the portal, I don't know. But Corey kept repeating it. His face was so determined. The look of someone who didn't want his organs snatched in a couple of days. Then he stopped and shouted, "Look at his fingers, they're moving." Suddenly Bookie sat up. Corey and I jumped out the grave. I know it shouldn't surprise us, that was our intention. But when you see it happen, it's like, oh shit. Bookie started crawling out. When he stood up, he looked like he never died. Skin was flawless. We told him we needed him to play some games to win us some money back. He asked what's in it for him. We said a second life. Bookie agreed to the terms and we went to the casino. Corey and I waited outside in the car for Bookie. It might be suspicious if 2 chip thieves returned to the scene of the crime. An hour later, Bookie came out with 2 drawstring bags. One bag for him and the other for us. Before he handed us our bag, he had one request. A favor, perhaps. I said, what was it? I was just relieved to have the money for Big Baller and a little extra for our pockets. Bookie said he wanted to put a hit on his brother. He was the one who killed him. I didn't want to do it, nor did Corey. But we really needed that money. I said, sure. Bookie said we'll get the money after the hit, which means we need to do it by tomorrow. He handed me a photo of his brother and exited the car. Bookie was going to buy a room for the night at the casino. They have a hotel attached. As Bookie walked off, I told Corey we're screwed. The photo was Big Baller. He's Bookie Buchanan's brother. The following morning, Corey and I picked up Bookie from the hotel. We grabbed some drive-thru breakfast and went over the plan. Apparently, Big Baller's more ruthless than I imagined. Turns out Bookie was the renowned poker player. But greed and jealousy made Big Baller kill his brother and take his identity. He wanted the money, cars, parties, the lifestyle. So he read all the notebooks and diaries Bookie had to become the best player. And once he mastered it, he killed his brother. I couldn't imagine killing Corey. For what? A cowboy hat and golden rings, reputation, acceptance? I feel for Bookie. The plan was simple, or at least that's what they all say. We break into Big Baller's house, formerly Bookie's house, and shoot him. I didn't have a gun, but Bookie had a gun secretly stashed in his lawn. He doubts Big Baller found it after moving in. Corey and I debated on who's going to shoot Big Baller. Corey felt he should because he's not from town. It's hard to track an out-of-city suspect. However, I said I'm doing it. Because if this goes south, I would rather take full responsibility. This whole BS is because of my compulsive gambling disorder. If I would have just called it quits on the table and continued our night, we wouldn't be here. We pulled up to the house. Bookie got out the car and searched for his long gun. He pulled a slab of grass back, like a man peeling his toupee. Underneath was a revolver. Bookie grabbed it and returned to the car. I took the gun from Bookie. After a few deep breaths, I got out the car, Corey behind. Bookie said there's a spare key in the rock by the door. It took me a minute, but I found it. Corey and I crept inside. There was no sign of Big Baller, but the house was filled with poker decor, like a mini casino. What made it even more nerve-wracking was the silence. No TV was on, no dishes clinking from breakfast, no shower running. Maybe he's asleep. Corey and I searched the bedroom. When we entered inside, it was empty. He's not even asleep. Now I was wondering if he's even home. I heard a drill coming from the backyard. I slowly opened the sliding door leading out back. The drill noise became a lot clearer. It was coming from the garage. I cocked the gun, ready to shoot if Big Baller steps out. We walked closer to the garage entrance. There was a set of legs stretched out from underneath the car. I couldn't confirm if it was Big Baller, but since there's no one else on the property, those were pretty good odds. I angled the gun at his body, seeing exactly where an instant kill might be. Then I started to think, what if it's not Big Baller? What if it is a mechanic he called over? I mean, he could afford it. Then Big Baller would discover his mechanic's dead body, somehow trace it back to me and Corey, put a bounty on us. We would have to leave the state, maybe leave the country, go to Pakistan or Angola. Corey pulled the lever of the car jack, dropping 4,000 pounds onto the body underneath. I'll never forget that image. The body looked like someone stumped on one end of a tube of toothpaste. As I stood there, jaw dropped, still aiming the gun, I heard Corey casually say, "We're done." Corey and I were sitting in the car outside Bookie's hotel. He was running up to grab our money. As we were waiting, something popped in my head. I wonder if Corey would do this to me, kill me out of greed or jealousy. We were never raised to hate each other, but what siblings are. So I asked him. Corey looked at me, and with a long face, he slapped the shit out of me and said, "I hope that hurt you as much as that comment hurt me." Bookie returned with the cash. He leaned on the passenger window and handed Corey the bag of money. "See you fellas," he said, then walked back inside. I guess this is it. I asked Corey what he wanted to do. He's got one day left out here before heading back to LA. He pulled a 50 out the bag and said breakfast. I told him I know just the spot.